You're listening to Hot 1240, Hot News Talk Radio, Clutch with Keon Rose. Thank you for joining me today. This is a Thursday Night Football edition of Clutch with Keon Rose. I don't get deep into Thursday Night Football analysis typically, but the Titans are playing. They're playing the Jaguars tonight. I don't know what the NFL is thinking with some of this Thursday Night Football stuff, because here's what the NFL does, right? They just run out football basically every day of the week now, in this assumption that you will just sit down and watch football. But I don't know if they realize what they're doing when you just run out the Titans and the Jaguars. Like, the rest of America does not think that this is compelling football to watch. Presumably, Marcus Mariota will be compelling to watch. He's trending upwards, and there's a whole lot to be said about the direction that he's taking, how efficient he's been in the red zone as a player. He's taken strides every single week this season as a better quarterback. I know I have said on many occasions I think Mike Mularkey is ruining Marcus Mariota, and when it comes to the pace that Marcus Mariota is playing with, I still think he is. I don't think that is a sustainable thing that you can ask a quarterback to do over the course of their career, is to play in this tempo that is Neolithic at best. It's an offense that is caveman-esque. It's Stone Age. So I don't know that this is the greatest game to go ahead and show America, but at least you're going to get Marcus Mariota. And if you're a Titans fan, that's got to be good for you to get your team here on prime time on a Thursday night. You don't have to try and I don't know, figure out how to watch the game necessarily. You can go on Twitter. Google Thursday Night Football on Twitter. Pull up the game that way. Whatever it is that you need to do. My issue here with this is that the Titans and the Jaguars are two teams that maybe you could argue are trending upwards. I don't even know if you could argue that for the Jags anymore. They started the season hot. Blake Bortles has regressed a little bit, though it does seem like people want to hop off the Blake Bortles bandwagon very quickly. They just want to abandon the guy. And to me, I don't know that you should make decisions like that on a quarterback that quickly if you've decided he's going to be the guy, and he's going to be the guy on your really bad football team. You still haven't given him an offensive line. You still haven't given him really a running game. You still haven't given him great receivers. He's got good receivers, right? Allen Hurns is a good receiver. Robinson is a good receiver. But you don't have, great receivers. You've gotten him Julius Thomas, tight end. You've gotten him a few weapons, but you can still build on that, develop on that. And you haven't given him a lockdown defense that he can really rely on. And I'm telling you right now, Blake Bortles is about to be somebody's Sam Bradford. Some team is going to be in danger. They're going to need a quarterback. They're going to go for Bortles whenever Jacksonville has decided to give up on him. And he's going to be good enough to win for them. That's all you need. He's going to be good enough to win for them. Right now, Blake Bortles is a good quarterback playing for a make-believe team. You are asking too much of him, and when you say things like Blake Bortles is regressing, he's not turning out to be the quarterback that you thought he was going to be, it's year 3. For goodness sakes, we've had 8 years of Jay Cutler, and no one's given up on him. I mean, people give up on Jay Cutler all the time, but nobody really gives up on Jay Cutler, because Jay Cutler's still a starting quarterback in the NFL whenever he's healthy. If Blake Bortles is younger, presumably more Ben Roethlisberger-like, higher upside, why would you give up on Blake Bortles right now? I think the guy's going to turn out to be a pretty solid quarterback. You just need to give him time. And this is my problem with a lot of these developments, is that you don't give the guy time. If you weren't going to give the guy time, why did you throw him to the Wolves in the first place? Let him ride the bench. Let him develop. Let him learn the game at the NFL, work his way through in practice, develop NFL speed, or ride him out. Let the contract finish first before we're like, oh, looks, Blake Bortles is taking troubling regressions. No, he's not. That's the up and down of a young quarterback. of a young anybody in any field. You have good weeks, you have bad weeks, and hopefully over time you develop on it. I mean, just because the guy doesn't start off absolutely on fire. I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous to me. And the whole Blake Bortles thing is ridiculous to me. And people really, really have the stench of losing, as I like to call it, because it has surrounded the Cubs forever. The stench of losing, it surrounds the Jaguars. You associate the Jaguars with bad football, even when the Jags are getting better. Look at a team like the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals are, even though they played in that horrific 6-6 tie on Sunday, and they haven't looked quite themselves this season, and Carson Palmer has, now that's a guy that's regressed. He's looked less than himself. The Cardinals are actually a good football team, but you still have that pang in your chest that says, you know what? The Cardinals are actually a bad football team. Something about it feels wrong to call them a good football team. Wouldn't you say so? It feels wrong deep down inside to call them a good football team. And that's where we are with the Jags. The Jags are not a bad football team. Okay? The Browns are a bad football team. I think the Rams are a bad football team disguised as a good football team. But they're bad. They're bad because their starting quarterback is Case Keenum. Those are bad football teams. The Rams are not a bad football team. They're a team with a lot of holes. But who in the NFL isn't that? The Texans have a lot of holes. The Titans have a lot of holes. The Colts have a lot of holes. Oh, wait, no, that's all the other teams in the division. So everybody's got a lot of holes. And quite frankly, this division is up for grabs. I don't care what anybody says. I think the Colts have the best chance of winning it because luck. But as it stands right now, the Texans lead the division. And honestly, they don't look like they deserve it. They don't look like they can hold it. Anybody can make a push for this thing. Now, why are you all throwing all that shade at Blake Bortles? Really nothing negative to say at all about the Tennessee Titans. The Titans play the game that they play well. They control the clock. They run the football. They give Marcus Mariota opportunities to make plays downfield with his arm off of the play action. They allow him to be able to make defenders miss with his legs. They have the scripted runs in the offense. They have those pre-planned runs for Marcus Mariota just to get him going a little bit. He's a fast guy. Use his strengths. Okay, I mean, Marcus Mariota, I believe in his longest run of the season last season, topped out at 23 miles per hour in pads, in a game, in the fourth quarter. Yeah, Marcus Mariota's fast. I would take advantage of that as often as humanly possible. And credit to Mike Mularkey and what they're doing over there in Nashville. That is exactly what they're doing. They're taking advantage of Marcus Mariota and his speed. I think it's the smart thing to do. You're listening to Hot 1240, Hot News Talk Radio, Clutch with Keon Rose, Thursday Night Football. Who knows? Is it going to be any good tonight? I don't know. This short turnaround has never been good for teams. They don't play their best football doing this. The NFL needs to come to this realization. I don't know that we're going to see the best game from some of these guys. But I will say this about Marcus Mariota. He hasn't taken the biggest shots this year. He's managed to stay healthy. He gets down. He slides after runs. I like what it is that he's doing. And he's keeping himself safe and keeping himself on the field. So maybe after not having taken like the huge shots, he'll be fine. But it's just a grind, especially for those linemen. I think that's just too much to ask of those guys. Thursday Night Football after playing on Sunday. I think it's too much to ask. Guys are bigger, stronger, and faster than they ever were, and they're playing shorter weeks. It's silly. You're listening to Hot 1240, Hot News Talk Radio, Clutch with Keon Rose. Alabama, man. Alabama is that guy in your high school that you hated. You know the guy that was like the Hollywood cliche. He was the starting quarterback of the team. He was good at everything, perfect at everything. His grades were good. He was good at football. He dated the hottest girl at school. That guy. That guy. You want to punch that guy in his face, in his perfect teeth, because that guy is annoying. Because all the talents that he has, A, he doesn't realize that not everybody has that. And B, he has it, and you don't. Was listening to some Alabama stuff, right? From the SEC network. And they were talking to some Alabama players about the Texas A&M game and how they were able to win and what they were able to do. And there was something that definitely stood out to me, very interesting in the game, right? Which is that Alabama players were looking at Texas A&M offensive linemen to try and find a tell for whether or not the play was going to be a run or a pass. And they could tell. And they could tell by looking at the left tackle. If he stood with his left foot forward, it was a run. If he stood with his left foot back, ready to drop back and take on the defensive lineman, it was a pass. And they did this so consistently that Alabama players started picking up on it. And they beat Texas A&M eventually simply by knowing what it was that A&M was going to do before they did it. And how do they know? Because A&M was out there telling them. Okay? Which is crazy to me that this is not a thing that is coached and practiced over there at Texas A&M, because it's been in like every football movie ever. Like, you can tell if it's a run and a pass, whether by looking at a guy's knuckles, the way he stands in his stance in the ground. If he leans forward, his knuckles are going to be white. That means it's going to be a run. If it's not, it means it's going to be a pass. It's been in movies like Invincible and Rudy, which everyone has seen Rudy, even though I actually haven't seen all of Rudy. But that's neither here nor there. It's been in a lot of football movies. How are they not coaching this at A&M? You can't tip off the defensive players as to whether or not you're going to be running and passing, especially that defense, because that defense is pretty much a historically great defense with how it scores. That defense is more effective than some offenses. Like, if you ask me right now, do I want to take Drew Lock and Missouri's offense or Alabama's defense? I'm going to take Alabama's defense. It scores, man. Do you hear me? The defense scores. And then on top of how athletically gifted all of those guys are, you're telling me they're reading people? Yeah, I want to punch Alabama in the face. He's that guy in high school. Just want to punch him in his teeth. Unbelievable. You mean to tell me that on top of being a defense consisted of incredibly high recruits, blazing speed, power at the line, a little suspect in the secondary, but only a little. You mean to tell me, despite that they're also looking at the left tackle, right? And not just the lineman across from the left tackle. If you watch the video, all the defensive players are looking at that left tackle. The linebackers are looking at him and going, oh, yep, nope, that's a pass this time. Nope, that's a run this time. And it worked so effectively, they never really stopped doing it. I mean, that's crazy. And also, man, you don't have people at Texas A&M who are picking up at this. Like, anybody up in the video room going, okay, dude, they're watching you. Because that's bad technique. That's what that is. It's bad technique. That's not relying on your form, and that's cheating a little bit. You feel like you're going to be overpowered by the defensive lineman, so you put your foot back so you can have a head start in standing upright and standing your ground. I mean, you're cheating on your technique, and there's a reason why you don't cheat on your technique. It's not just so you do things properly for you. It's so the defense doesn't read you out. You can't tip your hand. And it's crazy because in like every sport that is this psychological, tipping your hand or not tipping your hand is one of the biggest things that you ever get taught. And here you are playing Alabama, a team that you had an extra week to prepare for because you came off a bye, and you're tipping whether you're running or passing? I mean, you got to be a little bit better than that. And you're supposed to be the last challenge that stands between Alabama. Now, I happen to think that maybe it's just me. I think this Auburn run is for real. You're listening to Hot 1240, Hot News Talk Radio, Clutch with Keon Rose. I have a legitimate question. John Christ does too. John Christ over at Saturday Down South. Great football blog. What happened to the year of the running back? Remember this year was supposed to be the year of the running back? Oh, how that story just got swept underneath the rug. This year was supposed to be the year of the running back, right? Nick Chubb, Jalen Hurd, Leonard Fournette. Nope. We got none of that. The year of the running back, and at no point was it ever that. The leading rusher in the SEC right now with 855 yards is Ralph Webb. And the thing that to note about Ralph Webb is that Ralph Webb is a really good running back. But Ralph Webb was never going to be the guy that you thought was an elite running back. Ralph Webb was just good. Furthermore, Vandy can't pass. So Ralph Webb was just going to be toiling as a good running back on a team that can't really open anything up for him. Like, we all know the ball's going to Ralph. And Ralph Webb, to his eternal credit, is playing as best he can. But he should not be the leading rusher in the SEC because he plays for a team that can't throw the football. Now, whoever thought that? Then you got Raleigh Williams III over at Arkansas. Arkansas can always produce runners. Raleigh Williams was really great last year, but he had a horrific injury, and you thought, well, he's going to come back and not be the same. Raleigh Williams, second in the SEC. Tavion Williams, Texas A&M. You mean Texas A&M that can't run? Because that was A&M last year. A&M was throwing the ball all over the yard, couldn't run anywhere. Now, they're surprisingly a good rushing team, and I think Trevor Knight definitely helps open up those lanes because you do have to account for Knight as a runner as well. But Tavion Williams should not be third in the SEC in rushing. Just as an FYI. Damian Harris, when the season started, not even the best back on his team. And by the way, he's a 5-star too. Bo Scarborough. Nope. But he's not there. And Cameron Petway. I mean, the names that are on this list are borderline no name. Borderline no name. With regards to how well you thought they would be doing. And the guys that you thought would be doing well, Jalen Hurd, squat. Hasn't done anything this season. Nothing. Nick Chubb had the North Carolina game and has been pretty terrible ever since. Now, I give Nick Chubb a little bit of a pass because the injury. And Leonard Fournette has been dealing with the ankle all year, missed a few games. Leonard Fournette hasn't been himself. Leonard Fournette is the one guy that I'm like, he can save this a little bit. He can salvage this a little bit. But we're 2/3 of the way through the season, and the guys that we thought were going to be the marquee players to watch in the SEC, a conference that to me connotes running the football and had some of the best rushers in college football a year ago, has produced a grand total in the year of the running back of nobody. To quote Jim Harbaugh, who rushes better than us? Everybody else. SEC has produced, as far as potent rushers go, absolutely no one. which is truly and honestly one of the most bizarre things in this entire bizarre season of college football. You're listening to Hot 1240, Hot News Talk Radio, Clutch with Keon Rose. Stick around. We've got Mox Talk and the Community Corner, the Halloween edition, coming up next. Hot 1240, Hot News Talk Radio.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
A $500 gift card. $500? What? That's right, Funky. A $500 gift card from a store of your choice. The agents at Exit Realty Scenic City are confident they can sell your house. They can do it in 99 days or less. If your listing proves a slowpoke, they will give you a $500 gift card. No one works harder for you than agents at Exit Realty Scenic City. Licensed in Tennessee and Georgia. Exit sells quickly all types of commercial and residential properties and vacant land. Looking for a dream home, or maybe you're just a first-time home buyer? Let an agent get you started today on your house search. If you're a real estate agent looking for a change, see what Exit can do for you. Training, technology, branding, culture, and financial freedom. Again, Exit Realty Scenic City. Call 423-551-EXIT to learn more. Call 423-551-EXIT and learn more.
Terms and restrictions may apply.
Cash, 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 and more cash. Rick Davis has the cash when you sell gold, silver, diamonds, rings, and jewelry. Sell Rick your precious metals today and lock in your price. Hey, Rick Davis will trade your cash for shiny, brilliant, and heavy gold. Gold cheaper now by $100 an ounce. Join the Rick Davis Silver Bonanza too. Prices so low, the Lone Ranger is bound to gallop in, Kimo-sabe.
Hey-ho, silver, away!
The markets are changing, so buy now. Cash, 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 and more cash for your silver and gold, gold, gold. Rick Davis, 5301 Brainerd Road. That's 5301 Brainerd Road. Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds. Oh, and cash, cash, cash. You know where it is.
Hey-ho, silver, away!
You want more business. You want to increase your bottom line. You want to spend less on advertising, imaging your business, and general expenses. You need Trade Bank. Trade Bank of Chattanooga. Trade Bank. Call now to get access to nearly 400 local businesses. Trade Bank. Call 877-2202. 877-2202. Trade Bank. You want to increase your cash flow, your competitive edge, attract new customers, and build a loyal customer base. You need Trade Bank of Chattanooga. Call right now. 877-2202. When you join Trade Bank, you'll get the benefit of free advertising in our monthly magazine, tradebank.com, emails, and mailouts. Join Trade Bank now and receive your Trade Bank debit card with trade credits to spend any way you want with our wide variety of Trade Bank partners. For almost 30 years, Trade Bank has been your voice for small business, a member of the American Bankers Association, and in good standing with you. Trade Bank of Chattanooga. Call now for a free consultation, 877-2202. That's 877-2202. Trade Bank of Chattanooga.
Expect fair to partly cloudy skies to continue through your nighttime. Overnight lows into the lower to middle 50s. For Friday, lots of sunshine returns. A nice day, but warmer. Highs 80 to 82. For the weekend, more sunshine, getting even warmer with highs each day, 82 to 85. Glass Farm Nursery is the largest pansy and viola supplier around, with flats now only $14.99 and a huge selection of first quality 8-inch mums only $4.99. That's Glass Farm Nursery, Highway 11, 4 miles south of Trenton. And I'm Sports Team 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Orr.
On AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio.
Hot News Talk 1240.
AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio. With your chance to win $124 in cash and $124 in food every week with the Hot News Talk Radio 1, 2, 3 NASCAR contest.
Hot News Talk 1240.
All you have to do is guess who's going to be first, second, and third place in the upcoming NASCAR Sprint Cup race. If you guess it, you'll hear your name live Monday morning at 11:30. Then call AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio to win. Enter your guess right now at Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds, 5301 Brainerd Road, Chattanooga. Diesel off-road technology, Sonny Daisy. For your four-wheel drive and truck needs, stuff and upholstery with premium rubber foam.
Amigos Mexican Restaurant next to Staples and Hickson. Drink specials during the race. Self-surgeon, the Broken Screen Dock. And Shooter's Supply, 4824 Hickson Pike in Hickson.
Hot News Talk 1240.
Enter your guesses now and listen to the race live to win $124 in cash and $124 in food from Chattanooga's official NASCAR radio station.
Hot News Talk 1240.
I love NASCAR.
Hot 1240 Hot News Talk Radio with your Hot News Now update. A grisly motorcycle crash claims the life of one Ringgold man in Bradley County. A Collegedale police officer says he saw the motorcycle traveling 80 miles per hour down the highway. It was a 45-mile-per-hour zone, and the policeman gave chase, but it was too late. He saw the man on the motorcycle fly over the handlebars and splat onto the street. He was taken to the hospital where he died. Two men were minding their own business on Shepherd Road walking down the street when gunshots rang out from a passing car. They realized they had been shot themselves in the legs and groin. They were driven to the hospital by a friend. Police arrived on scene and have not found a suspect. He's believed to still be on the loose. The victims didn't see enough to give a description. Two witnesses have refused to testify in a murder case before Judge Barry Steelman. They say they fear that they would be outed as snitches and killed. They are the only two men besides the perpetrator who saw a man be shot in his house in the head, left to die in a pool of brain matter and blood. If it's going on in the Tennessee Valley, it's going on Hot 1240 Hot News Talk Radio.
Martin Truex Jr. is off the pace and he is headed to the pit lane. Elliott Powers around the outside. Michael McDowell pops a right front tire. Here's Martin Truex to the bottom. Blaney blocks him off too. Meanwhile, Chase Elliott went 4 wide on the back straightaway. They're side by side for the lead.
Hear it live on Chattanooga's official NASCAR radio station.
Hot News Talk 1240. The voice of NASCAR.
So we've come to the point in the program where it is time for the Community Corner. Before we get to the Community Corner, very quickly, I'd like to tell you to check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Best places on the net if you search Hot News Talk Radio. If you watch us on YouTube, you can check us out right now, live, streaming this show and all of our other local shows as well with video. You can see inside of our studio, get an opportunity to see what it is that we look like. Also, make sure to check us out on our website, noogaradio.com, and the TuneIn Radio app, where you can just choose whatever app store is convenient for you. Find the TuneIn Radio app, search Hot News Talk Radio in the app, give us a favorite, and press play. You'll have Hot News Talk Radio everywhere you go. That's Hot News Talk Radio and the TuneIn Radio app. Listen like you mean it. Now it is time for the still theme songless Clutch Community Corner. And joining me is
Janelle. Jay, I go by Jay. That's true. Jay, hey, woo!
And cheers, you are the host of this here corner of this program.
Awesome. Well, this here corner of this here program today, we are going to be talking a little bit about safety. This is Community Corner Halloween edition.
Yeah, I don't have a sound effect for that either. I'm severely lacking in the audio department.
Today, actually, I'm going to be chatting with you all a little bit just from my professional experience working as a licensed master social worker. I work with lots of children and families. And the number one thing that I would say is stay safe. So let's talk a little bit about staying safe. So I guess, Keon, I'd actually like to ask you a little bit. Halloween, what is it known for? What does America experience? Since of course you are America.
Well, specifically candy. Halloween,
lots of candy.
Yep, the tricks, the treats, but mostly the treats. And every little kid ever wants candy. That's what Halloween is about. It's about dressing up as your favorite character and candy. Yes, mostly candy.
All of the candy. Side note, like as an adult, like as a child, getting candy was amazing, right? And then as an adult, I realized that really I could just go buy it all on sale and have tons and tons of it and the kind that I want. And then all of a sudden I realized that maybe eating candy wasn't that great.
I mean, that's more or less it, even though I still do participate in those sales. I can't resist them. Everyone knows it's coming. The day after Halloween, the day after Valentine's Day, those are the days that you go buy candy. True. Because it is horrifyingly cheap.
True. And like for those, like I didn't really get to go trick-or-treating a whole lot as a kid, but all my friends who went frequently, they'd always complain about not getting the kind of candy that they wanted, or like, old man on road number 3, house, on the left, skimping and not giving like the Snickers bars or whatever.
But I had friends who had that whole thing mapped out, where they knew who the houses were that gave you candy, and where, oh yeah, no, Miss Williamson, she only gave you a Snickers bar, and the fun size version.
Right. So,
nobody was trying to do that.
No.
So you knew to avoid her.
So I know, I'm sorry, our time is super short. So I do want to get into that. But I do want to say, so as we talk about kind of some of these things, Halloween is exciting for a lot of people. A lot of people have put a lot of time into their costumes and getting candy and being scary and spooky. The only scary thing that needs to be happening at this point is you seeing the spiders and the fake cobwebs on the porches and not crazy accidents. So let's talk a little bit about what that looks like. So if you have kids, or you are a kid, or if you have friends who have children or whomever, and you all are planning on going out, here's some ideas that you can kind of think about as you get ready to enjoy your time with your friends and family. So when we're talking about costumes are exciting. They have a lot of pieces sometimes they could just be a sheet. Whatever you do, whatever you use, make sure that your costume is kid friendly. So if your kids are going out, things that you can do to make their costumes more safe can include putting like reflective tape on the backs of their costumes or in prominent places as they're walking around. Also considering using like face paint instead of masks, so that way the kids can see if something happens. We don't want things to obstruct their vision. If we're talking about costuming as well, just kind of making sure that even though we want the costumes to look cool and be creative, that they're not going to inhibit safety, I should say, keeping your kids from being able to walk, or if they need to move in a quick situation, that it's not too tight or restrictive. And this isn't just kids, let's be honest. This is anyone who's in a costume.
If you decided to go as Spider-Man this year, that is a tight costume. If you can't run in that costume, you've got a problem.
Right. Or if it's cutting off circulation, whatever.
I'm trying to give examples here. For instance, if your child, like this is the Star Wars movie came out, if your child wants to dress as Darth Vader, Lord Vader, that's a black costume. At night, give him a little reflective wristband or something so he can be seen.
If you're going as Bane, make sure that there's oxygen, holes in your face.
Correct.
And I know it sounds silly, but some of the accidents that happen, costumes are part of that metric. So be aware. Also, and again, you're listening to Hot News Talk Radio, AM 1240. This is Clutch with Keon Rose, and this is the Community Corner with Jay. And we are talking about Halloween and safety and cool things that keep us having fun on the holidays and keep the holidays not scary when it comes to things that happen in the family. So, jumping right back in, so we talked a little bit about costumes. Let's talk a little bit about practices. So between 5:30 and 9:30 are usually the times that you see folks out trick-or-treating. Let's be honest. From the perspective of those who are out trick-or-treating, if you are going out and you are having fun, keep in mind, that this is dinner time for people. Keep in mind that this is work travel time. So if you are crossing roads, crossing streets, think a little bit about, not just the candy that's in your bag, or as we talked about, the really cool house that you're going to that gives the best candy bars. Make sure you stop, look, listen, as we were all taught, but also, do the best that you can to make eye contact with the drivers before you walk across the street.
Right. And drivers as well. If you're coming home from work, if you're, running out to the store or whatever, make sure that you look out for kids.
Absolutely. Okay. Those of you who are coming home from work and whatever, be aware that this is a holiday and these are young people and people who feel young out doing things that are exciting. So, driving a little bit slower is okay. Being aware, if you are at a home passing out candy, make sure that the candy that you're giving out is wrapped. Those of you accepting candy or any other goods, make sure that these things are wrapped, pre-packaged, individually packaged. I know it's really cool to get, brownies and whatever. If it is not a pre-packaged store-bought thing, you might want to consider if you don't know the people who are handing out these items.
Avoid the candy apples from strangers.
Man, but those are my favorite.
I
The
know.
big caramel ones.
But we've all heard about the razor blade,
Yes, that was a pretty big
candy
one.
apples, and all of those things. So yeah, just if it's not wrapped,
It's not probably not worth the wager.
it has the potential of being pretty dangerous. And if you're a parent, make sure you watch out for your kids.
Right.
Check your kids' candy when they come back home, because I think Jerry Seinfeld had the old comedy sketch about kids only have one thing on their mind. They don't really think that hard about anything, and that one thought that all children have is get candy, get candy, get candy, get candy, get candy. So you get to be the parent and look at the candy, determine what's safe, what's not safe, and take away the stuff that's not safe.
Right. And again, like, we're out to have fun, right? So we're not necessarily, hopefully we're thinking about being responsible. But holidays are times where people like to be just free and exciting and having a good time. So making sure that when you are going out that you do have someone that is responsible. Adults, those of you who are out there possibly using intoxicating beverages to celebrate, make sure that you have the proper arrangements made. One, because it's important for you to stay safe. And two, there's a lot more people out on foot, ideally, traveling around, especially in the night. And we just don't want any accidents. So please be aware. Please make proper arrangements.
Don't drive drunk. Don't drive buzzed. Buzz driving is drunk driving. And Uber exists, and it's not expensive. Call an Uber. Like, if all else fails, call an Uber. Seriously.
Yes, absolutely. So it's really just important to just really be aware that safety is a really big thing. If you don't have your local emergency numbers, now's a good time to Google them. Your non-emergency numbers, your poison control numbers, have those on hand. Again, we're not saying that these things are going to be requirements, that you're going to need to use them, but to have them ready and available is a great thing, just in case something happens to you or someone that you love or someone that you're aware of. If you feel like it and you want to be that vigilante ahead of time, feel free to post it on your social media for your friends and family to know, hey, by the way, this is the poison control number, just so you know, whatever. If you know that you have people in your family who are prone to not paying attention to safety, go ahead and step up. I know that election season is coming up soon, and I only anticipate the tricks and the treats being both very heavy this year. If you're out there and you're playing tricks or anything like that, keep it safe, keep it relatively kosher. We know that you want to have a good time, but just know that there are always consequences, unintended consequences. Paying attention to that, paying attention again to who's driving where and what's going on. I think, it's pretty common sense, but we really want you all to pay attention to that. That being said, I kind of like to throw out some of the trunk or treats that we've seen and some of the other happenings around the greater Chattanooga area. Just going to throw these out here so that way if you're in the area and you're interested in adding some more fun, or you're not quite sure what to do and you want to hear something, we will definitely put some of these on our Facebook as well. Again, you're listening to Hot News Talk Radio, AM 1240. This is Clutch with Keon Rose, and this is the Community Corner. And we're just going to list out some of the cool trunk or treats and church events that are happening. First, we have on October 29, the Peach Orchard Church Trunk or Treat at 8 p.m. We have the Berks United Methodist Church Trunk or Treat. That's October 30th from 5 to 7:30. The Ottawa UMC Trunk or Treat, October 30 from 3 to 5. The Red Bank United Methodist Church Trunk or Treat, also on the 30th from 4 to 6. The Hickson First Baptist Church Trunk or Treat from 6 to 8 on the 31st. Again, on the 31st, we have the Mount Carmel Baptist Church Trunk or Treat. And we have Stewart Heights Baptist Church on the 31st as well from 6 to 8 p.m. Just some other bigger things that probably cost a little bit more, aren't as free. We have some highlights. The Ruby Falls Haunted Cavern. Ruby Falls has been really awesome in being just kind of a leader in holiday events. We've gone to some of their Christmas programming and things. And so this year they have the Haunted Cavern, and the tickets are between $20 and $30. There is a 10% discount if it's purchased online. So we've got Friday through Sunday. We've got the 30th. The 31st is the next night that it is available. So you can go online and check that out. We've got on the 30th, the Enchanted Maze at Blowing Springs Farm. That started on the September 30th and is going through till October 30th. And that's 10 to 7. That's about $10 for admission. Under 3 is free. We've got the Tennessee Valley Railroad Halloween Erie Express. The last dates for that are the 28th and 29th from 5:45 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. And then Saturday, well, there's a 30:30 p.m. as well. So these are some of the bigger events that are happening. Oh, and Boo in the Zoo. At the Chattanooga Zoo. There are regular prices that are there, but that's 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. and that's left on the 28th through the 30th. So go ahead and check that out if you can. Lastly, the Tennessee Aquarium has the Aquascarium on the 28th from 4 to 8:30 p.m. So feel free to check out what's going on. Chattanooga.citymomsblog.com. Also, we've got safekids.org if you need some other tips and pointers on keeping the unintended accidents and things from being problems. We can't always prevent everything, but we can prepare so that way we can prevent as much as possible. So from us here at the Community Corner, we wish you a happy and safe holiday, and we ask that you just consider safety, consider the consequences of your actions, and be responsible so we can all have fun and continue making our America great.
Well, thank you for that. That is the Community Corner with Jay. Thank you very much for doing all of that fantastic research on keeping kids safe during Halloween. It's Halloween to me is an interesting holiday. And I remember one day that I was watching football on Halloween night with my dad, who was so angry because we kept getting trick-or-treaters coming to our house. And my father was only interested in watching football, was not interested in interacting and or engaging with anybody that was looking for candy at our house. We did not have anything out at our house. He was interested in watching football and was mad that the doorbell kept ringing all night long while he watched football. And I was watching it with him and just watching like this vein just kind of come up on the side of his head. Halloween is, it takes over the neighborhood.
I would like to throw out to you one last tip and pointer. If you are going to homes, please realize that when it gets in, like it's going to be dark, be aware of that. Don't be going to people's homes like after 10, really.
And
10,
if they have their
10:30,
lights turned
11.
off, like their porch light's not on,
yeah,
leave them alone.
Leave them alone.
They don't want to give candy.
Have some etiquette. It's okay. That's one thing I'd like to.
And if you don't get all the candy you want on Halloween,
Go to Walmart the next day.
Exactly. It's gonna all be 10 cents. Like back in the 20s when everything cost a nickel. That's Walmart after Halloween. So now it's time to talk about the mocks. UTC. We talk about the mocks every Thursday after the Community Corner, and the mocks trying to get the winning streak, return to their winning ways, right? And they play Western Carolina, and Western Carolina has got one of them annoying quarterbacks, right? They played Mercer to start the season, the Mocs did. And who did they play? They played Chandler Curtis at quarterback. Chandler Curtis is that annoying dual threat quarterback. When you talk about dual threat guys, and I don't mean guys that are good a little bit at running and a little bit at passing, but who are very talented at passing and very talented at running. Those guys are annoying, right? Like you had a guy like Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow was very good at running, and he was good enough at passing to make you pay. But when you have some guys that are like RG3 at Baylor, Lamar Jackson, Michael Vick at Virginia Tech, guys who are very good at running, but also highly accurate at passing the football, Marcus Mariota at Oregon. You've got some guys that are very good at passing the football and running it. Those guys are annoying. And it doesn't matter how good your defense is. Those guys have an opportunity to tear you limb from limb. And when you look at what UTC brings to the table defensively, which is that they are, not unlike Alabama, but, in the FCS, they are a very good scoring defense. And it's not a lot of teams that give them trouble, right? Like they had trouble with the Citadel, but everybody has trouble with the Citadel because the Citadel come out with that weird triple option, and you just have to try and figure out how it is you're going to defend it. That triple option is lethal the way that they run it. and they've got the talent to make it really hum. Citadel's tough, right? But this is also a tough assignment because they're playing Western Carolina. Quarterback Tyree Adams is a dual threat quarterback, and he is, to me, in that sort of RG3 mold of guy, because not only is he a redshirt freshman, but also he's really good at two sports, and track and field is that second sport. The high jump. He won the Southern Conference's high jump during the indoor track and field season. And this is a guy, when you see him run, you can see the athleticism, like the same athleticism that gives you the high jump, gives you that explosive running ability, which is why when you look at the combine, that's why that long jump and that's why that vertical are so important. They're not just interested in how far you can jump. The reason why you get to be able to jump so far is that initial explosion. And typically, guys who jump that far and jump that high tend to do very well in the 40-yard dash. They're very fast guys. That was one of the disappointing things about Michael Sam when Michael Sam went to the NFL, and people wanted to talk about how, oh, Michael Sam is washing out of the NFL because he's gay and people don't want to deal with all of that headache and attention. No, Michael Sam, just his measurables at the combine did not look as athletic as they should have. His broad jump was average. His vertical was below average. And as a result, he ran a pretty slow 40, and you could see it on the field when he got opportunities to play. He just wasn't an explosive athlete. He's not the guy that's taking your left guard and pushing him into your quarterback. He's not doing that. He doesn't have the explosion. When a quarterback has that level of explosion, that guy's hard to contain. And you can see it in all kinds of athletes all across the board. But RG3, especially when he was in college, was particularly difficult to explain because this guy took off and there wasn't anybody on the field who could catch him. Once he got into that second level, it was a wrap. It was game over. That's the challenge here for the Mocs. But like I said, very capable defense. The Mocs handled Mercer, despite playing Curtis, who is himself incredibly talented, but he got very much contained. But I don't think, my personal opinion, on the limited amount, of Southern Conference football that I've seen, I have not seen a ton, so take this with a grain of salt. But I do not think that Curtis is quite the quarterback that Tyree Adams is. I think Adams is a more accurate passer. This makes him 10 times scarier to me, because then he's going to extend plays with his legs. The Mocs have the talent to overcome this. They have guys like they have guys all over the field defensively who are able to sort of fly around and make plays. And I'm looking forward to seeing exactly what it is that Russ Huseman is going to do to try and slow this attack down. It's interesting. Anytime you play a dual threat quarterback, because remember, if you remember Texas A&M when they had Johnny Football gave you headaches not because of what was called, what plays were called, but what he did when that stuff didn't work. The buying time, the throwing across his body, the unpredictable stuff that guy would do because that guy was athletic enough to do it. Crazy good. And even the best defenses had trouble defending it. The game that A&M fell early to Alabama and that Johnny Manziel almost led the comeback. That dual threat ability. They're the most annoying quarterbacks. I have not watched a ton of Mocs football in my life. This is my first season really intensely trying to follow the team. And so this is, to me, interesting because I don't know how they faced these kinds of quarterbacks in the past, especially under the tenure of Russ Huseman. But I'm the entire notion of it, a defense that is this stifling, as the Mocs can certainly be, when you look at guys like Trevor Wright and what he can do defensively and what he can bring defensively and how many different ways that he was able to wrap up the different quarterbacks that UTC has faced so far this season. Okay? Because they do bring that corner blitz. And he's usually the guy. And by the way, he's very effective when they do that because he is so flipping fast. So I'm looking forward to the Mocs kind of getting another winning streak rolling. They're going to play Western Carolina and Tyree Adams, dual threat. Is he going to be danger for them? I hope not, but I feel like they're more than up to the challenge to handle. This is Hot 1240 Hot News Talk Radio, Clutch with Keon Rose. Remember, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. So stay clutch. Don't go anywhere, though. I'm not. It's Two Millennials Talk with me, Russell Stroud. Next.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
I'm blowing everything up. We're starting over. I'm doing a new show. I want guys who push it to the middle of the table and go over the top. Take a risk, fail miserably. I'm right, and I'm not wrong, and I'll never back down. Conflict works. Allow it.
It's The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Right here and everywhere. Noon Eastern.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
At Eyer Optical, it's a well-known fact. When you buy one pair of glasses, you get a second pair absolutely free. But did you know Eyer Optical has the largest eyeglass selection in the area, with top-name brands and styles in the latest trends? Schedule your appointment with one of the doctors today for a comprehensive eye exam. And remember, when you buy one pair of glasses, you get a second pair absolutely free. Visit EyerOptical.com for a location near you.
Eyer Optical.
Listen up, y'all. Ben Phillips, Home Rate Mortgage, 805-9100. I'm in the business of saving people money. And if you want to save money, pick that cell phone up